Already did.
I think most people did early. Oh my God.
No lines, no waiting.
That's a case for gun control or not. Just making that statement. It's been crazy.
Are back at home. They were on the road last week at Wyoming, Colorado State. This week they have one match. They play Utah State on Saturday.
All right. Actually, it was a tough road trip, but I actually felt like we played pretty well. We started slow in the Wyoming match, and by game 3 we're playing really well. And unfortunately, at the end of game 3, Carson Hellborn, our starting setter, blew her knee out. So we pulled that one out because we built up about a 7 or 8 point lead, but then we, like we've done when we've had other injuries this year, kind of freaked out after that and let that get away. The good thing is we went to Colorado State and regrouped, and I thought it was a really as good a volleyball match as we've been involved in all year. We lost it in 5, but late in 4 we were tied at 21 all, leading 2-1, and had chances to win but made a couple mistakes. But as depleted as we are and the way things were going, I was really, really proud of the way the girls stepped up and played. Losing your starting setter is a tough one. And Lisa Ruglin stepped in and did just an amazing job and kept us in a big match with a huge crowd. And I was really proud of what they did. You know, unfortunately we could have won. I think you jinxed us, pointing at you. Right here.
I hope.
No, you didn't. It's all good. But no, really, I really was. Overall, we had some really good performances. Julia Warden's been playing really well. Knee brace and all, she's been tearing it up for us and doing a great job. And like I said, Lisa Ruglin stepped up. Ashley Kelsey at the libero position has been really keeping us in matches and keeping things close for us. And our schedule is a little better closing out. We have 2 at home, 2 away. All single matches, so single prep, and we're not double prepping or anything, which is nice. I do want to say we play Utah State Saturday, and then the following Saturday we play San Diego State. That's senior day. I wanted to mention that today because I won't be here next week because we're on the road at Nevada. And a swing state. For you that don't know, there's an election today. Nevada's a swing state. I've got a degree. Okay. Big Latino vote today. Just okay. But we play San Diego State at home for senior day. We have 4 seniors, but three locals, and I think that will be a big day for us. And I wanted to point that out. And Elsa will come over next week and give you a few more details on what's happening with that. But I did want to talk about it because I'm not going to be here next week. So, any questions?
Do you feel like you guys, since Julia's back, do you feel like you have the right amount of oomph to like finish the season strong?
I think we're playing well enough. You know, it's amazing because when you have, we've had 3 really bad injuries, and when that happens, it's easy to give up, and they haven't. You know, CSU match, that would have been an easy one to throw the towel in, and I thought, like I said, I thought it was the best match we've been involved in all year, and you know, so I think the seniors will battle going out, and I think that if the other kids do their roles, yeah, I think we can have a lot of success these last 2.5 weeks or whatever.
Are you ready to throw the towel in on that leg injury?
You mean the one I just sustained? Yeah. It just goes with the season. No, it'll just be a good bruise, you know. No, we're depleted. I actually have to play and practice a lot right now, so I can't even make an excuse. I got to go play in a couple hours. So, any other questions?
I was going to say, Julie had a heck of a game though, didn't she, though? 21 kills,
Yeah, she actually played really well in both matches this weekend, but 21 kills, double-digit digs. She's second or third in the conference in double-doubles now, and I mean, that's really, she's playing at about 75%. And it's been really fun to watch her come back and give us everything she's had. Yeah.
Utah State, they beat you 3-1.
Yeah, up there. And I think, kind of like our last two home matches, I feel like our players are looking forward to it. They feel like they didn't do their best. It was a tough night, and I think that there's definitely some revenge on their minds.
And how do you characterize this season?
Running into that table over there. It's really, for me, I like these seniors so much. It's kind of heartbreaking because I really feel like it could have been a lot better for them. And I think particularly Devin Sowers has really battled well for us. I told you a few weeks ago, she has an issue with iron, and she's been tired a lot, and she's given us everything she's had. And when Julia was out, those two are the captains, and she really fought to keep things together and keep us in matches and did a great job. And that's why I was so excited to see her get Player of the Week last week, just because she put so much into it. It's nice to see something come out of it. And but that's the part that disappoints me. There's a lot of good talent behind them, and tomorrow is our signing day, and it's going to be a really good day for us. We're signing 4. We have 2 more walking on, and we've had them under our wing for almost a year now. So that's exciting, and they're from all over the world. So, but still, it's really disappointing. I've had Julia since 9th grade, Cassie since 10th grade, because I was their club coach too. So for me, it's just a real bummer to see them not have what I think they should have. And it started right away with Ja'Kaylee Clark getting hurt, and she's a phenomenal talent, and it just kind of set the tone. And the next week we played at home, great, exciting weekend with Nebraska and Arkansas, and then we go on the road and Julia gets hurt. And you can't make excuses, and we even talked about it Saturday after the game that good character steps up, and good people keep fighting, and that's what we've stressed, and I think that's the one thing they can take from it.
Is this upcoming class you're going to sign tomorrow, is this the best you ever had?
It'll be towards the top. I'm not allowed to say a lot.
Can you say it's potential?
It has great potential. There you go.
Sowers, being from Tatum and SL, we've never had anybody from some little town of 1,000 people, but
Does Tatum have 1,000 people now? I don't think so.
500.
They have one flashing stoplight, I know that.
But I mean, it seems funny that, because I don't know a lot about her, like if you've been following her, but from Tatum, it just surprised me. And she really turned out to be a heck of a player.
Well, let me tell you how this all happened. I try and, unless we're on the road, I try and always be at the state volleyball tournament as much as I can, and we'll be out there all day Friday. Thursday's a dead period, so we can't be. But I think her freshman year, we were out there, and that was, I think, their second of 5 straight state titles or something, and she was 4-time 1A Player of the Year and crazy stuff. But I was sitting there, and Sally Marquez is a really good friend, and she texted me from the other side of the arena and said, "You need to get your butt down here and watch this kid," and that kind of started it. And then we just continued to follow her through high school, and by her junior year that summer, we had her committed and stuff. But great talent, great kid. Yeah, and from a really small town, so I'm fortunate to get her away from a couple Big 12 schools out that way, and so. We good?
A couple of times you referred to, I wish it would have been better, or could have been better. Realistically, how much better could it have been? What were you hoping for?
Well, I'll tell you what the girls said. I mean, in the locker room Saturday night, they said if they could even have corrected a couple things or held it together a little better, they feel like they could be sitting at 20-8 or even 22-6 right now. I mean, during the period when Warren was out, we had 4 matches where we had match point and didn't win. So even if you take that, you're 18-10, which is a hell of a lot better than where we are now. Can I say that on TV? I don't know. I heard a lot of worse things during the election the last few weeks, so.
You have to ask Devin about Chinese burgers on it.
Okay. Okay, I will do that.
So,
But does that kind of give you,
Yeah.
I mean, that's really kind of how they're perceiving it. And that was their discussion after the game on Saturday night.
and that's a realistic expectation too.
Well, I think when you put yourself in that position, just like the Colorado State game, get to 5 on the road with the team that's winning the conference, you got a chance to win that. So we put a lot of pressure on them, and like I said, overall, did pretty darn well.
You guys just need to learn how to win in 5, because
Well-
you lost 5 times in 5.
Since Julia's been back, we're 2-1 in 5, but while she was out, we lost 3, I think. Yeah, you know, that's there's a lot of good kids there, but every team has a kind of your fighter, your fist pumper, your all that. And if you've been out to a game, you know who that is on our team. Everyone does. And you know, each year somebody different fills that role, but for the last couple of years, that's who it's been. Good? All right. Go vote. Have a great week.
Watch the table.
All right, guys. You know, it's on to Utah State. But before I do, you know, I hate to look back. You know, that's the thing about having these conferences on Tuesday. You know, you're full into the next game mode. But I do have to try to identify and try to thank some people that stayed in that stadium until 1:10 a.m. And I'm going to put some criteria on it. First, it's the honor code. But if you were there at 1:10 at the end of that game in the stadium, not in the press box, not up there like you guys sitting up there in a nice warm, comfortable press box. If you were in that stadium at 1:10 a.m. on 11/5/16, my email is rdavey@unm.edu. You send me an email, send me your home address, give me a little story as to why you thought it was important that you stayed, and I will definitely commemorate the occasion. You know, I'm thinking about some great T-shirts. Maybe I was there, 11/5/16, 1:10 a.m. with the scoreboard on it. May do a little bit more, but again, it is on the honor system, the honor code. But if you were in that stadium outside, make sure you email me at rdavey@unm.edu, right? And in particular, there was a group of probably 10, 12, 15 guys that were kind of in a row that came out when we came out for the second half. Looked like some college-age guys. Looked to be well hydrated, like they took advantage of the 2-hour window. Looked like they were in good shape, could have gone all night, probably did go all night. But I'd really like to hear from those guys because they had some juice, man, and they had some energy. But, you know, I guess if you stay in this game long enough, you see it all. You see it all, and that was certainly different. The people that were there, I really do appreciate. I mean, there's a core of people that actually made a difference in that game. Actually made a difference in that game. And I've got the utmost respect. It was kind of comical, you know, I could hear in the fourth quarter, you know, it was so quiet in there, and you could hear both sidelines, and you could hear the coaches. One time I heard Coach Cosgrove, our defensive coordinator, late in the game, tell the DBs to get back. And then I heard a couple people in the stands, get back, get back. They were coaching. I mean, they could hear it all. You know, so I want to apologize for any language that may have resonated in that stadium. But again, there were a group of people there, and I got to reach out to our band as well. You know, I mean, they stayed in force. You know, we've already reached out to them to do something for them, but they had some juice and they had some energy, man. I guess things start a little later at night than what the coaches are used to. But certainly unique. You know, we finished the game in Honolulu at 11:17 a.m. Mountain Time to come back the very next week and finish a game at 11:10. Excuse me, did I say 11? Finished the game at 1:17 in Honolulu Mountain Time, and we finished this game at 1:10 a.m. You know, playing a team that was coming off an open date. You know, let's not forget that. So as we were flying back from Honolulu, after playing that game, Nevada was resting all weekend. You know, they gave those players Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. And it was definitely a unique situation. And again, Rick, I guess if we keep going, we're going to see it all, right? We came off that field at halftime, and I heard a boom. And it didn't seem like it would be thunder, you know, because there was very calm conditions. There wasn't any wind, and it was thunder. And then the next step of that was what was happening. So again, I hate to look back. You know, we're full on to Utah State. But again, man, take advantage of, if you were there, reach out to me, and we're going to do something, you know, really neat for you.
You missed the lightning bolt that took the lights out?
I heard about it. You know, to be able to rebound from that, you know, I was thinking of that, the crew coming out. What were the odds of getting everybody out there to get those lights turned back on? You know, it's just very fortunate we were able to finish the game. So all in all, a unique situation, and I think just another in the bigger picture of, you know, a program is about when things happen that you can't prepare for, how you handle things. You know, no one can prepare for the dynamics of a football season. No way you can prepare for all the things that are going to happen through the course of a season. And I mentioned after the game that, we've got a pretty good little football program. We've got a good little football program going on with a culture, an identity. We are who we are. And again, I appreciate the hard work that these players and coaches have put in. It's a unique situation. We certainly still have some more hurdles. That's quite obvious. But we got a pretty good little program that's able to rebound from adversity, to bounce back from situations that happen, whether it's losing in Las Cruces, whether it's giving up the lead at Rutgers or what happened in the first half to Boise, flying across the Pacific Ocean to play Hawaii, who was on a roll, finishing at 1:10 here a.m. Saturday night. So to me, we'll win our share. We'll win our share because the culture is definitely on the rise. So with that said, let me kind of transition to Utah State. Utah State's a really, really good football program. I thought Nevada was better than their record. In fact, I said that last week, and I really believe that. Utah State is absolutely better than their record. You look at what they've done as a program. They've had, I think, 5 seasons or 6 seasons in a row of winning 10, 9, 8, maybe 8 and 6. That's big time. Right now they have 14 players in the NFL, 14 players. They've had 10 players drafted in the last 6 years. And Frank, I'm not sure who the last player from UNM that was drafted, maybe Cook, and what year that would be?
Well, that's correct, 08.
08. So that's close to 10 years. We've not had one drafted here. So you put that in perspective. They have 14 players in the NFL. They've had 10 drafted in the last 6 years. They've won 10 games, 9 games, 8 games, 6 games over the course of the last 5 years. They certainly put a lot of support into the program. They've got a beautiful end zone facility. They upgraded their stadium this year. Like any program that has success at this level, it's difficult to keep your coaches. They have had turnover on their coaching staff because they've coached well. So, and the biggest thing to me is I think back to 2013 out here when they came in here and it was like, wow. I think back to the Fresno State and I think back to the Utah State when we were first starting this thing, how it was just ridiculous, the gap. And for that reason, I've got a lot of respect for Utah State because that is a good football program with good players and good coaches. The other thing I think to take note about Utah State is they have played the very best of the Mountain West Conference. You look at their schedule, they've played San Diego State, they've played Boise, they've played Air Force, they've played Colorado State, they've played USC. Did I mention Wyoming? I think maybe I did. They have played the very, very best of this conference. So they're sitting there at 3-6. They're in a survival mode as far as going to their 6th consecutive bowl or whatever it would be. They're playing at home. So, we're still trying to catch them. I don't look at the specifics of the record right now. I look at the tape and I look at what I've seen since I've been here. We're still trying to catch them. And this will be a good test for us, obviously, going up there just trying to win another game. So with that said, Rick?
I think these last 3 years, I think you've scored 10, 14, and 14 against them. Is it, they've had, like you say, they've had some big, strong guys. But what do they do schematically that's giving you?
Well, they're well coached. They don't do anything out of the ordinary. They do it with big, mature, physical players. Some of the guys that I mentioned that were drafted, I also saw a statistic, and I hesitate. I think this is accurate. I think they have 24 players that were on LDS 2-year missions, which means those guys are probably, in most cases, 2 years older and more mature. They've done it with really good, big, physical players. But you're absolutely right that we have really not done anything against them offensively. You know, we really haven't. And it's a, you know, other than Ramel Jordan breaking a run up there 2 years ago, I don't know that we've done much of anything. But with that said, the thing that was encouraging was we stood here a week ago and we talked about Nevada last year. And we talked about how they had 2 running backs that gained 140 yards each. We rushed the ball for 130 yards against Nevada. And now we're standing here saying we rushed the ball for 373 yards against Nevada. And they rushed it right at 100 yards and didn't have a 100-yard rusher. So that's why you continue to build and you continue to go play. And every team's different. But they have whipped us. I mean, physically, they've been a handful for us. And quite honestly, the next 2 weeks, Colorado State has been the same thing. So we have 2 weeks here on the road, which incidentally, I think both are on ESPN2. That'll be $1 million that football generates here in the next 2 weeks, which I think is pretty significant. I think it was 50,000 for the game Saturday night. So we're plugging along. You know, we're plugging along with it.
Coach, when you overcome weather, an opposing football team with the kick you're behind, and all the other elements, you talked about the fatigue factor. What does it take to overachieve like that in a week? Is there an adjective that describes your players?
No, I think, you know, I talked to our players this morning about, you know, we've moved on to Utah State, but it's important to talk about the Nevada game of what was the most important things. What are the things that we take from Nevada that helps us prepare to play well against Utah State? And certainly I talked about those rushing statistics that I just gave. I talked about the time of possession. We had the ball 40 minutes. Nevada had it 20. I talked about blocking an extra point, which was huge in the game. We made them miss a field goal. I talked about the third down conversions that we had on offense, throwing the football. But the most important thing I talked about was what I talked to you about a little earlier about you don't prepare for changing dynamics during the season. You know, once you get into the season, it's week to week and you're in the foxhole. It's the program, and it's the stability of the program and the culture of the program that allows you to handle unscripted moments, right? It's like you raise your child. Well, you're not going to be with your child. Not everything's going to be scripted when you let that child get out in that car for the first time or go on that first date. It's the cumulative effect of the culture and how you've relentlessly worked on the message and how you handle things that come your way. So there's never a time during the season where you can turn it around or you can all of a sudden, because it's raining and we're sitting in here for 2 hours now, we have to become this. That's just the constant message, and that's the thing that I'm most proud of with this team. You know, we're going to find a way to compete, and we will win our share. We're not there yet. We got a long way to go before we can say we had 10 players drafted in the last 6 years now. That's something that you have to win some bowl games, and you got to keep building to get that. And that's the next step for us.
Going forward on fourth down, that looked like you guys are third in the country in that as far as converting 11 to, I think it was 11 to 14 or something like that, 11 to
Yeah.
13.
It is.
But anyway, how much do you think that helps your team with their confidence of going for it on fourth down because you trust them like that?
Well, I think if you look around, most triple option style teams are going to go for it on fourth down. You know, I had a chance to watch a little bit of Navy Notre Dame. Navy beat Notre Dame in Jacksonville on Saturday. They went for it on fourth down. So that's part of the element of being in that offense. Probably a little bit different that we're back there in the shotgun doing it, which makes it a little different. But yeah, I mean, we're going to go for it because it's about getting points in college football. And we're not a team that just throws the ball over the field and just accumulate points real quickly. So we're going to do that. I think a key in this pass game was Austin Apodaca on 3rd and about 4 ran it in for the last touchdown. So we didn't have to make that decision on fourth down of whether to kick to the field goal, which would have made it, what, a 5-point game or whatever. He was able to get that ball in the end zone. So I'm glad we didn't have to make one more decision to go for it on fourth down.
What would you have done?
I'd have probably kicked the field goal. I just think that, you know, again, I just think at some point you got to stop somebody late in the game, and they would have needed a touchdown. You know, we have a kicker that's probably going to kick the ball out of the end zone, so they're going to start backed up. I'd have probably made them go down and score a touchdown. I just think, I'd kind of thought it through, and we were going to kick the field goal.
Coach, were you happy the way Austin Apodaca came in that second half and really rallied the team, in those important drives? It's probably one of his best performances.
Yeah, he's healthy, and I was excited. He ran an X-comeback route to Pat Reed. He threw a slant to Gambo. He hit Chris Davis on a 3rd and 6 in the flat. He threw the touchdown to Emmanuel Harris, which we know he can do those things. He also had a couple big runs, particularly the cruise alley that we ran all the way down to the 6-yard line or 5-yard line when he slid, which it's been a while since I've seen an option quarterback slide like that, but he's an experienced guy, probably a good decision. So he played really well, but I think it's important, particularly about Lamar. Lamar had the 2 turnovers. There's no hiding that. One of them was a 3rd down pass from the 11-yard line. He throws the ball up for grabs. Dumb mistake. He makes a great run on 1st down. He takes the ball down to the 9-yard line, fumbles the ball. So he turned it over on the 11, which would have been a field goal, and on the 9, which may have been a touchdown in the first half. But Lamar really, really played well in this game. You go back and look at the tape. I mean, other than one pitch going to his left that he kind of hung Gip out a little bit, his option execution continues to get better and better. And he ran through the safety a couple times. And the most important thing to me, I mean, here's a guy that comes up to you at halftime, and certainly we had enough time at halftime to talk about a lot of things. Came up to me and apologized, was apologized, and I said, hey, look, man, you're trying to make a play. I understand it. It wasn't a lack of effort. It was just a bad decision on both of them. So, and he came back in, if you noticed, Austin, we almost turned it over again. We had it on the goal line after he hit Chris Davis in the flat. We fumbled the ball. Austin falls on it, bangs his left elbow a little bit. Lamar comes in and has the touchdown run from about 5 yards out. So he came back and really played well with the one play he had in the second half. So I think we're really in a good situation right now with the quarterbacks. It's whatever we have to do. Whatever we have to do, whether it's 1st down, 3rd down, who's in there, what quarter it is, I don't think any of that matters. And I think both of those guys are in a good place right now heading down this stretch.
What do you think you have to do to be successful at Utah State?
A lot of things. Again, it's an 8-21 game on the road. But looking back, last year, our 10th game of the season was an 8-21 game in Boise, Idaho last year against a team that had an open date. So, but it is our 10th game of the year. It's a late night game away from home. Obviously, I feel good about that, though, because, we're locked in pretty good right now. We're focused as a team. I think you look at their offense. I mean, they have 3 offensive linemen back that were some form of all-conference recognition. Big dudes that are physical, starting with their center. Their quarterback, Ken Austin, has played a lot of football. The other guy they bring in is a big, strong guy that played out here against us last year that's really good. They have speed. They have a lot of speed at the skill positions across the board. They remind me a little bit of us with, other than Devontae Mays, they've got the smaller, quicker, explosive backs. And they have a couple of wide receivers with length. So they're a handful on offense. And they have been throwing the ball a lot, and taking shots down the field. And then, we have to find a way to move the ball, which we have not done against them, the last 3 years since I've been here playing them. So it's a handful. I mean, it's a handful going up there and playing.
The points they've given up the last 2 weeks, obviously against really good opposition. Injuries?
No, they've played. I'll tell you, Wyoming and San Diego State now. I mentioned last week about the clip on the game of the 4 running backs in the league. Brian Hill and Pumphrey. And then San Diego State's got a couple other they put in there with that offensive line they have. Playing Wyoming and San Diego State's, both those offenses. So they have. I mean, they've given up some yards. They've given up some rushing yards the last couple of weeks. But as you know, it always comes down playing us to our matchups against them. Everything's a little bit different with us. And all I base things on just like with Nevada, is how do we match up? What have they done against us in the past? But they have given up some yards and points against again, really good teams. If you look at Boise, they go up there, I think maybe the week after we played, it's what, 28-21 or something, and they give up 300-some yards to Boise. So they're and they've got a good tradition on defense. You know, they've had some different coordinators, but they've kept that tradition of really good defense alive up there. Anybody else?
So who will start on Saturday quarterback then? I understand what you're saying. If I get this right, we do have a two quarterback operation now, and then who will start on Saturday?
I don't know. You know, I think you know, you kind of like Lamar in that obviously Lamar gives us the full-on triple quarterback as the ball carrier guy. You know, Austin is the guy that he still has the triple, but his ability to throw the ball adds some things. So I'll be dead honest, I don't know right now. I really don't. I think we have to even see how it goes this week. But again, I don't know that it really matters. I don't know that it really matters. Both those guys, as I said, I think both of them can give us a chance to win, and I think collectively the two of them together, you know, can give us a nice little decision to make right there.
Coach, is Chris Lewis coming back this week?
It's going to be hard. He was out there a little bit this morning, didn't do much. It's really the toe. You know, it's the full-on toe, a lot like Boatwright had, which kept him out 3 weeks. Of course, he doesn't have to cover anybody. But I think it's probably a long shot that he comes back and plays.
Is IB in protocol? Or is he...
No, he's good. His deal was a little different. You know, he really just had kind of a stiff neck and a bit of a headache. It wasn't any concussion symptoms or anything. He's good. IB's good.
Coach, is it a plus to, I noticed that we don't pass for a lot of yards, but we use a lot of guys catching balls. Like we had 8 different people catching balls. Is that a plus for a team, or?
I think, I don't know.
Instead of having a key, you know, one big guy or something like that.
I think, you know, Delane Hart is probably that guy if he was out there. Yeah. Again, I'll answer the question this way. You know, I was talking to Delane Hart today. You know, he's full on practicing. He's full on the scout team and practicing for us. He's been cleared. So that's an unbelievable positive. He's full on. We really do, for a team that throws it 10 times a game, have talented receivers in this program. It's amazing. We really do have talented receivers. And again, for us to really get to the next level, we're going to have a guy that can run it and throw it to take advantage of all of our talents, because we do have a group of guys. And those guys are starving to get the ball. You know, Matt Quarles actually had an opportunity early in the game. We threw the long X skinny. Probably if he'd have gone up and high pointed it, you know, it was true one-on-one coverage, he might have had a touchdown early. But Cole Gauchi had a catch. I'm surprised you didn't ask me about it.
I was proud of it.
I didn't know he had a first catch. I thought that was his first.
I think it's his first catch, wasn't it?
No,
New Mexico State, he had an 8-yard reception.
I don't remember that game.
You know, Coach, the thing I was going to ask about Cole Gauchi is he's such a great athlete.
Oh, I
You think
started something. Why, Rick? What did I start? Why don't give me the throat slash? I went down an avenue right there. Right? I shouldn't have gone down. But go ahead.
You know, he's talented. You think he'll have some more opportunities maybe down the rest of the season? You get a chance.
We're going to play him at quarterback, wide receiver, tight end. If one of the offensive linemen now, we're going to put him at guard. Okay? No, we know we love Cole. We know we love Cole.
His birthday day, right?
Today was his birthday. He called the team up. He's probably 36 years old. All right, guys. Hey, get that email address out now. I'm probably going down a path there I probably shouldn't go down too, right, Rick? We're on the honor code.